Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, October 29th, 2025. Well, it felt less like steady progress and more like whiplash, honestly.
A study in contrasts.
Exactly. On one side, you've got just pure hyperscaling. NVIDIA officially crossed the $5 trillion market cap mark. Unbelievable.
Some truly unprecedented territory.
But then, the same day, Amazon announces it's cutting 14,000 white-collar jobs. And they're explicitly linking it to accelerating AI automation.
And yet, underlying all that, the tech itself keeps hitting these incredible milestones, like AI scoring gold medals in mathematics competitions.
It's this collision, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massive ambition meets the messy reality of actually getting this stuff adopted and integrated.
And that duality, that tension, that's really our mission today. We're giving you a curated shortcut, a briefing on the critical AI updates that were published just today, October 29th.
We've sifted through the research papers, the funding rounds, the big policy shifts.
Yeah, the goal is to move fast, connect the dots for you, spot those patterns in compute concentration, where the applications are specializing, and how geopolitics is increasingly shaping all of this.
Okay, let's dig in. We have to start at the frontier with foundational research. And first up, maybe a bit of a reality check.
A necessary one, I think. It comes from a new benchmark framework called Replication Bench, just published on RxF.
Now, this one's really interesting because it's not just asking an AI a question. It tests AI agents on replicating actual astrophysics research papers end-to-end.
Right, the whole scientific process, data analysis, methodology, everything. Can these agents actually do science step by step?
Because if they can handle that kind of complex, long-horizon task, it changes everything for scientific discovery. If not, well, we've hit a wall.
And that's why the result is so stark. Even the best, the frontier language models, they scored under 20% on the benchmark's 107 tasks, which were written by experts.
Under 20%.
Yeah. So if you're building automated science workflows right now, you have to basically expect them to fail procedurally, like 80% of the time on complex tasks. It really highlights the limits on agent reliability and persistence today.
So a major hurdle for those generalist agents. But at the same time, specialized AI seems to be forging ahead in pure discovery. Google DeepMind just launched this big AI for Math initiative.
That's right. They're partnering with 5 top global institutions, places like Imperial College London, the Tata Institute in India. It formalizes things.
And this builds on their recent wins, right? Like the Gemini Deep Think model getting that gold medal performance at the International Mathematical Olympiad.
Exactly. That was huge, stepping into territory previously thought to be purely human. So now this initiative gives partners access to tools like Deep Think, which is focused on theorem proving, and also AlphaEvolve.
AlphaEvolve.
Yes.
That's the one that discovers new algorithms itself.
Precisely. It's an AI designed to find new mathematical algorithms. And it's already making waves. It's improved the best-known solutions for about 20% of over 50 open math problems. This initiative is really about speeding up that feedback loop between AI and pure math.
And it's not just logic. We also saw AI tackling creativity today.
Yeah.
DeepMind put out research on an AI generating creative chess puzzles.
Yeah, and the key here is creative. These weren't just hard puzzles. The AI was trained on millions of puzzles from Lichess, sure, but then refined using reinforcement learning. The goal was to make puzzles that were aesthetically pleasing, even counterintuitive, in a way that human grandmasters appreciated.
So it's capturing that human aesthetic judgment.
Exactly. In a complex strategic domain, that suggests AI creativity has applications way beyond just crunching numbers.
Okay, shifting to something with immediate life-saving potential. Drug discovery. A big speed boost announced today.
Yes, from Numerian Labs and NVIDIA, they unveiled something called the APEX protocol. That's approximate but exhaustive search. It tackles a major bottleneck in pharma R&D. It combines deep learning with GPU acceleration to screen virtual compounds super fast.
How fast are we talking?
We're talking about exploring 10 billion virtual compounds in under 30 seconds. Real-time exploration at that scale, it just completely changes the economics of finding drug candidates.
Incredible speed. Okay, one more on the research front. Safety and standards. OpenAI released something called GPT-oss-safeguard.
Yeah, this is important for transparency. They're open-weight reasoning models, 120 billion and a 20 billion parameter version. And crucially, they're under an Apache 2.0 license.
Open weight meaning you can actually download and run the model weights yourself, right? Look under the hood, customize them.
That's the idea. They provide safety classifications, but they do it with transparent, chain of thought explanations tied to developer policies.
Why does that matter?
It means organizations can build their own explainable safety systems on top. You can update your safety policies without needing to retrain the entire massive foundation model. It's a step towards more customizable, understandable safety infrastructure.
Okay, so while abstract science replication is, let's say, struggling a bit,
Hitting that 20% wall, yeah.
the physical side, AI in the real world, seems to be heating up. Let's move from the lab bench to the workbench.
Definitely. Segment B products and physical AI hitting the market. And first up, the humanoid robot market just got very real, very fast.
1X Technologies opened pre-orders for their NEO humanoid robot. They're calling it the first consumer-ready humanoid for home use.
And they put a price tag on it.
They did. $20,000 to buy it outright, or $499 a month for a subscription. That's quite the commitment.
It really sets the first concrete price point for this whole consumer humanoid market. But, there's always the fine print.
Yes. What's the catch?
The catch is that this robot, it's 5'6", 66 pounds, initially needs a human teleoperator for complex tasks.
So, remote control for the tricky stuff.
Exactly. It shows the hardware, the body might be ready, but the general intelligence for full autonomy, still very much a work in progress. There's that friction point again.
Makes sense. We also saw really important progress on the accessibility front today. Google Research showed off Street Reader AI.
Yes. This is for the visually impaired. It's a fantastic application of multimodal AI using Gemini in the background.
How does it work?
It gives you real-time audio descriptions of Google Street View images, but it's also conversational. You can ask it questions about what it's describing.
Wow. And Street View has billions of images, right?
Over 220 billion images globally. So this is a huge step in making all that visual information accessible to the blind and low vision community. Really powerful stuff.
Definitely. And one more for developers building conversational apps. A new text-to-speech model dropped.
Yep, Kanit TS released on Hugging Face. It's a 400 million parameter model optimized for real-time chat.
Optimized how? What's the key metric?
Latency. It achieves a real-time factor, or RTF, of about 0.2.
0.2. So that means it generates speech 5 times faster than you can actually say it in real time.
That's right, 5 times faster. And for you listening, that super low latency is what makes AI conversations feel natural and responsive, not laggy and robotic.
Okay. Crucial for user experience. Now let's pivot to the segment that really dominated the financial news today. The infrastructure. The compute. The capital.
Yeah, this is where the scale just becomes mind-boggling.
NVIDIA officially hit a $5 trillion market valuation today. $5 trillion.
It just cements their position, doesn't it? They are the central hub, maybe even the choke point for the entire global AI ecosystem right now.
The scale is hard to grasp.
Yeah.
But maybe even more telling than the valuation was the forward guidance.
Absolutely. CEO Jensen Huang announced $500 billion in new bookings for AI chips. $500 billion in orders.
So that tells you the massive capital spending cycle for AI infrastructure. It's not slowing down, it's accelerating.
It is absolutely accelerating.
But when you see that kind of number, that concentration of power in one company, what does that mean for competition, for startups? Is a $5 trillion valuation healthy, or is it just an insurmountable barrier?
Well, for now, it signals a deep reliance, doesn't it? And that reliance isn't just commercial, it's governmental, too. Also today, NVIDIA and Oracle announced a big deal with the U.S. Department of Energy.
Right, building 2 massive new AI supercomputers, Solstice and Equinox.
Solstice alone is set to have 100,000 of NVIDIA's latest Blackwell GPUs. Together, the 2 systems will deliver a combined 2,200 exaflops of AI performance.
2,200 exaflops. That's fundamentally changing the game for U.S. scientific research and national security.
Absolutely. And critically, tied to this, NVIDIA also announced that those Blackwell chips, they're now entering full production in Arizona.
The reshoring aspect, moving manufacturing from Taiwan.
Exactly. It's a major step in bringing critical semiconductor production back to U.S. soil, addresses supply chain risks, national security concerns.
But it's not all NVIDIA, is it? Amazon seems determined to build out alternatives.
They are. AWS just opened Project Rainier, their largest AI data center yet, out in Indiana. And this thing is a monster designed to consume 2.2 gigawatts of power.
2.2 gigawatts.
And the crucial part, it houses 500,000 of Amazon's own AWS Trainium 2 chips, dedicated specifically for Anthropic's models.
500,000 non-NVIDIA AI chips in one place.
It's the largest cluster like it in the world, a massive validation of custom silicon alternatives at hyperscale. They're serious about reducing reliance on NVIDIA and controlling their own stack.
And all this building, whether it's NVIDIA or AWS chips, it's creating huge ripples in the supply chain, right?
Oh, absolutely. Look at SK Hynix in South Korea. They're a key supplier of that essential high-bandwidth memory, HBM, that NVIDIA needs. They reported today they've sold out their entire 2025 supply of HBM chips already. Sold out for next year.
Already sold out for 2025. Wow.
And their Q3 profit surged 62% year-over-year to $8 billion. The demand for HBM is forecast to be double the current global production capacity. It just shows how far behind the supply chain is compared to the AI compute demand.
That kind of supply crunch, that kind of concentrated power, it leads us straight into policy, governance, and global alliances. Segment D.
Yeah, the technology itself is forcing countries to align. We saw that formalized today. The U.S. signed new technology prosperity deals, or TPDs, with Japan and South Korea.
Covering AI, chips, 6G, quantum.
Right. The aim is to streamline regulations, align on standards, make it easier for these allied tech industries to work together and protect sensitive technologies.
So basically creating a formal tech bloc among allies.
Pretty much. Promoting AI exports within the bloc, setting shared standards globally. Meanwhile, over in the EU, they already have the AI Act on the books. Now the focus is making it operational.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty details.
Exactly. The European Commission published draft guidings today specifically on how companies need to report serious AI incidents under Article 73 of the Act.
So telling businesses exactly what triggers a report, how quickly they need to file it, what information to include.
Precisely. It's the first real operational framework for incident reporting under the Act. Super important for any company getting their compliance systems ready.
And within individual nations, we're seeing AI being positioned as a tool for major economic reforms. The UK launched a big skills initiative.
Yes, Skills England put out its National AI Skills Framework. It's explicitly about getting the workforce ready. They've partnered with tech giants with a goal to train 7.5 million UK workers in AI skills by 2030.
7.5 million people. And they put an economic number on it.
They did. They estimate that successfully adopting AI could boost the UK economy by around 400 billion by 2030.
400 billion pounds.
Yeah.
And Germany's looking at AI too, but more for cutting red tape.
Yeah. The German cabinet approved a modernization plan today focused on using AI and digitization to slash bureaucracy.
How?
Well, one example they gave is creating a platform that allows someone to establish a new company entirely online within 24 hours.
Wow, okay. That would be a change.
The goal is to tackle what they estimate is 150 billion lost annually just due to excessive red tape and slow processes, using AI as an economic lubricant, essentially.
Makes sense. And all that potential productivity gain is certainly attracting investment. Let's get into segment E funding, the realities of enterprise adoption, and maybe some friction.
Definitely friction.
Okay.
But first, the money. Venture capital still loves vertical AI. Look at Harvey, the legal AI startup.
They raised again.
Third round this year. Another $150 million, but this time at an $8 billion valuation.
$8 billion. Didn't they raise much lower just earlier this year?
Their valuation more than tripled in just 8 months. It shows just how much investors believe in AI transforming high-value professional services like law and finance.
And the funding race continues globally. China's moonshot AI.
The developer of the Kimi large language model, they're reportedly closing a huge new round, $600 million.
$600 million.
Pushing their valuation over $4.1 billion. It shows there's still tremendous local confidence and capital flowing into China's top LLM players to compete globally.
Meanwhile, some funding is going towards fixing fundamental AI weaknesses.
Exactly. Like the fact that most AI agents are stateless, they don't remember context between conversations. A startup called MemZero just raised $24 million to build a persistent memory layer for AI agents.
A memory layer. Seems crucial.
It absolutely is. And the need is obvious from their growth. Their API calls jumped from 35 million in Q1 to 186 million in Q3 this year. Massive demand for agents that can actually remember things.
Okay, well, let's talk performance. We saw a pretty stark result from a crypto trading competition today.
Yes, quite startling. Chinese AI models, specifically DeepSeek v3.1 Chat and Qwen 3 Max, went head-to-head with top U.S. rivals like ChatGPT-5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro in a live crypto trading bot competition.
And the results?
The Chinese models dominated. DeepSeek v3.1 achieved a 114% return during the competition period. Qwen 3 wasn't far behind with 67%.
Okay, 114% return. What about the U.S. model?
They lost money, significantly. Both ChatGPT-5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro bots lost over 60% in the same time frame.
Wow. Oh, 114% gain versus a 60% loss. That's not just a small difference.
Yeah.
What does that tell us? Is it just about the training data for crypto?
The sources suggest it's more about optimization for specific high-stakes real-world tasks. The Chinese developers appear to be intensely focused on training models for active financial decision-making and achieving measurable results. It raises real questions about U.S. competitiveness in these applied domains.
And that successful application, especially in automation, it brings us back to Amazon.
Right. Those 14,000 job cuts in corporate and tech roles, Amazon explicitly linked them to accelerating the adoption of AI tools and agents for automating routine white-collar tasks.
14,000. It feels like one of the first really large, concrete examples of AI moving beyond assisting workers to actually displacing them in these kinds of roles. It escalates the whole debate.
It absolutely does. But here's the paradox, the core friction we keep seeing today. If the tech is mature enough for Amazon to cut 14,000 jobs, why are we also seeing these global surveys highlighting a huge intelligence gap in enterprises? Shouldn't successful automation mean companies have their data and processes figured out?
Good point. What is the survey saying?
Well, one from Bell and Harris poll found that 9 out of 10 senior business leaders say data sovereignty, keeping their data local, secure, under their control, is non-negotiable. They want compliance.
Okay, understandable.
But simultaneously, a Wipro report found only 14% of businesses believe their own internal data maturity is actually good enough to support AI effectively at scale.
So 90% demand strict control over their data, but only 14% feel their data is even ready for AI in the first place.
Exactly. Companies want security and local control, which naturally slows things down. But even if they wanted to go faster, 86% of them admit their underlying data infrastructure and governance probably aren't ready.
That's the friction point right there, caught between compliance demands and their own internal readiness.
It's the central challenge slowing down the hyperscalers who really rely on centralized cloud data. And that reliance on centralized systems creates its own risks. We saw reports today of another AWS disruption.
Which AWS disputed, right?
They did dispute the extent of it today, but it follows that confirmed major outage earlier in October, which had estimated insured losses around $581 million. It just underscores the systemic risk when everyone depends on a few giant cloud providers.
What a day. Concentrated power, massive scale, colliding head-on with organizational reality and friction.
Yeah.
If you had to synthesize October 29th, 2025, what's the deadline?
It's the stark duality of this new era. On one hand, you have just staggering power and capital at the infrastructure layer, NVIDIA hitting $5 trillion, AWS building 2.2 gigawatt data centers, just raw capability. But then you have profound friction where the rubber meets the road at the application layer. The 14,000 layoffs, those sub-20% replication bench scores showing scientific AI isn't there yet, and that massive enterprise intelligence gap. The power exists, but the world is clearly struggling to absorb and deploy it reliably, safely, and effectively.
A powerful summary. Okay, before we wrap, let's give our listeners a couple of practical tools or resources that emerged today.
Absolutely. First, if you're building AI applications and wrestling with safety, check out OpenAI's new open-weight models, GPT-oss-safeguard. They offer that transparent, policy-driven safety classification with explanations. Really useful.
Good one. And another.
For the open source folks out there, particularly if you want to run high-performance inference on Google's specialized hardware, their tensor processing units or TPUs, there's a new open source engine called SGLangJax. It's built on Google's JAX framework and aims to make TPUs more accessible for inference.
Okay, GPT-oss-safeguard for explainable safety and SGLangJax for open source TPU inference. Got it. And finally, the numbers of the day, the two figures that really capture today's contrast.
I think it has to be these two.
Number one, $5 trillion. NVIDIA's new record market cap. The symbol of hyperscale infrastructure.
And number two, 14,000 jobs. The number of corporate and tech roles Amazon is cutting, linking it directly to AI automation acceleration, the human cost of that scaling.
$5 trillion, 14,000 jobs. Okay, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on.
Given everything we saw today, if 90% of business leaders are demanding data sovereignty as non-negotiable, but only 14% feel their organizations actually have the data maturity needed for AI at scale, What tough choices are you going to face? Will you prioritize compliance and control, potentially slowing you down, or will you push for competitive speed, maybe taking risks with immature data or less sovereign setups? How do you navigate that trade-off to secure your place in this rapidly scaling, friction-filled future?